Hey guys, this is Mari0, which is based off of Portal, which is actually part of a Mario game.
The world of fan creations is one that's very easy to fall into, in both a good and sometimes horrifying way. Whether that's fan mods or original fan games that are so good that the creators get hired by the original IP's developers, to getting a DMCA from Nintendo just for breathing the word Mario. Whichever case, fan creations are always a blast to look through, knowing that some of them have hours upon hours put into them by fans of whatever fandom it comes from. But if there is one fan game that stood the test of time by many for the passion that it went into making it, as well as the fandom behind it, it's Mari0, the beloved fan game crossover with Nintendo's Super Mario Bros. And Valve's Portal, done by the wonderfully titled video game development team StabYourself.net. Best gaming team I've heard in a long time, honestly. Ever since its creation in 2012, thousands of people around the world have poured their hearts into how fun the game is for its responsive controls, gameplay, and the level of customization you have with your character, and even having a level editor for you to make your own creations. After 10 years of this game coming out, it is still garnering a relevant fandom thanks to YouTube videos, mods, etc. Some of that love coming from yours truly. In fact, it's now officially been 10 years since I had originally uploaded my Mari0 video all the way back in 2012. And as a way of saying thank you for the amazing 10 years of the Daniel to Gaming YouTube channel, I got in contact with the crew behind StabYourself.net, and I would like to tell you all the fascinating, almost never before heard story about the history of Mari0, from its making to how Stab Yourself reacted to it, and what the future holds for the game. So with all of that said, this is the history of Mari0. Oh boy, this is gonna be fun. Let's start things off with one simple date. Tuesday, July 20th, 2010. Leading up to this date, a programmer by the name of Maurice had been working on a Tetris fan game using the game engine Love 2D. The game was called Not Tetris, and as the name implies, it's a seemingly normal game of Tetris, but all of the pieces move freely instead of being in a grid, making it very difficult and sometimes even damn near impossible at times to complete even a single row. Maurice would then release the game onto his own website on the 20th, with a sequel releasing 11 months afterward, but let's not get ahead of ourselves. The game would receive a pretty decent following afterwards for its, at the time, pretty unique take on the Tetris series. After the game's release, Maurice's friend, a man that goes by the name of Sashol, had a pretty decent idea. You see, when the game was first released, it was on Maurice's personal website, so Sashol had the idea of creating a proper website that could not only be for this game, but could also be used for whatever games they would release in the future. When they finally decided to make the website, they needed to decide on what URL to use. And at the time, Sashel had coincidentally enough already owned a domain name that went by the name StabYourself.net. And before they started using it, he intended on wanting to use it for wildcard subdomains. If you don't know what a wildcard subdomain is, a wildcard subdomain is a way to make all possible subdomains point to the same server without needing to know which subdomain would actually be used in advance. However, that never came into fruition for the StabYourself.net domain, and so they decided to use the URL, with Sasha suggesting it should be used as a sort of brand to release any of their games under. And thus, the StabYourself.net website was born. Alright, so I'm gonna jump timelines here and there before I get to Mari0, so just bear with me here, I'm gonna make this quick. After the creation of the StabYourself.net website, Sashel and Maurice would go on to create a few more games after Not Tetris. And just so that way we're on the same page, Maurice was actually the one exclusively doing all of the programming, designing, developing, etc., while Sasha was the one consulting on what felt right, like designs, controls, UI, etc. But to make things easier, I'm gonna combine them together. So yeah, after the creation of StabYourself.net, they decided to work on a few other games after Not Tetris. First, there was the sequel, Not Tetris 2, which added a highly requested feature called piece cutting. There's 2013's Not Pac-Man, a similar idea, but this time spinning the maze around with a gravity-behaving Pac-Man as well as gravity-behaving ghosts. There's Order of Twilight, a My Little Pony-based puzzle game made for the My Little Game Jam tournament. Trosh the Movie, the game, a game made in one day that is filled with explosions and lights and just a bunch of stuff all over the place, and a whole slew of other fan games that I would like to name, but I don't think we have the time to get all of them here. So let's just roll back to 2011 for a minute. For their next project, after they had worked on Arthur Robot, they had one simple idea in mind: a remake of the Super Mario Bros. Engine. It sounds simple enough, however, they wanted this remake's controls to be nearly identical to the same controls as the original Super Mario Bros. The creation of the remake was actually out of curiosity to see exactly how far Maurice could push the Love Engine's limits. It was only after completing it that Maurice wanted to put the new game base they had just created into fruition. But what could they use it for? They simply just couldn't release a one-to-one remake of Super Mario Bros. As they just found that to be boring. Also, while they weren't even thinking of it at the time, Nintendo was kinda going on rampant when it comes to fan games and anti-piracy, as at the time Super Mario Galaxy 2 had already just become the most downloaded piece of media on the Pirate Bay. However, they never thought of any of that when they were making this. So, what exactly could they do in order to get this engine out there? Well, at the time when they made the Mario engine, on June 13th, 2011, Dorkly, yes, Dorkly, released an animation about what would happen if Mario got a hold of the portal gun. After seeing that video, they both thought it was a great idea to take that Mario engine they had just created with the portal gun and turn that concept of Mario with a portal gun from that video into an actual playable video game. They already had Mario's movements down, so now the second challenge was just getting the portal mechanism down. And after a couple more weeks of coding, they finally managed to get a fully working Super Mario Bros. Game engine with a fully functional portal gun too. And thus, Mari0 was born, with the name Mari0 being a nod that the number 0 matches the same shape as a portal, and it's a Mario game with portals. Honestly, brilliant name. However, that was just the start of it. There would be a lot more to go through before the game would even be released. So, they got the engine, they got the portals, and they also have the sprites. With the game now in beta, copies of the game were given to winners of a Mari0 related art contest. According to those that played the beta, things that were missing were mazes like in Worlds 4-4 and 7-4, bullet bill zones like in Worlds 5-3 and 6-3, falling platforms as seen in many areas of the game, and a couple of levels that weren't even recreated yet, including all of the water levels. Maurice quickly got to work on adding all of those immediately, as well as adding things like cheat codes to make the game even more fun, and also adding items from both Portal and Portal 2. And after a few more weeks of coding, the game was ready for release. As a way to promote interest for the game's release, they uploaded this puzzle onto their website. A 7x8 black and white grid with squares scattered all across it. Fans needed to solve this in order to get the release date. And after some very creative liberties in order to solve it, viewers realized that the pattern of the black and white squares resembled that of binary. And after putting the grid in a spiral formation and inputting the white squares as zeros and the black squares as ones, and after converting all of that into text, they finally got this readable message: March 3. Meaning that March 3rd, 2012 would be the official release date for the first available version of Mari0. Now, coincidentally enough, Valve themselves actually did something kind of similar when they were releasing Portal 2, but the way they did it there was so much more complicated and really difficult to explain in a short amount of time, including radio transmissions, multiple Steam games, phone numbers, fake blue screen of deaths, etc. If you want to hear more about that fiasco, Inside of Mine did an entire video about the entire Portal 2 release date ARG. Go check it out, links in the description below. So yeah, the game was getting released for March 3rd, with the game actually being finished 3 hours before the countdown on their website was finished. And with that, the wait was over. Mari0 version 1.0 was made available to the public, with it getting a whole slew of updates afterward until 1.6 was released, a little over a week after the game went public. By the time of its release, Mari0 would become the de facto game for StabYourself.net. And as the game grew in popularity, it led to YouTubers Markiplier and PewDiePie releasing their videos about the game, with Mark releasing his on November 22nd, 2012, and PewDiePie releasing his video on February 21st, 2013. God, knowing these videos are almost 10 years old makes me kind of sad, honestly. And with that, the game's popularity skyrocketed like no other Mario fan game had ever done before. Aside from the iconic new Super Mario Bros. Wii mod, newer Super Mario Bros. Wii. With this success, the Stab Yourself team wanted to push the Mari0 name further, and 2 months after the game came out, on May 1st, 2012, it was announced that a follow-up update to the game, named Mari0 Special Edition, was in development, with new enemies, new levels, packs, etc. Seems like everything was going forward with the new SE update. However, as development was pushing forward, things would start causing issues for the team. Mainly for Mari0, as a ton of different bugs and issues for these new features were causing development of the update to come to a halt. Bugs in which that were so deep into the programming that it would have led to Mari0 having to build the entire engine from the ground up again. And just for a Mari0 update, it seems like it wouldn't even be worth it. So with that, progress had been stagnated for a while, and we wouldn't get any notifications about the game until August 12, 2015, which stated that Mari0 Special Edition had officially been cancelled. And it wasn't like a change in development or anything, it was just more like a, yes, it's cancelled, we're finally talking about it kind of ordeal. A couple of years after that, in 2017, development for a sequel to Mari0, dubbed Mari0 2, Mari 2, and for some people Mari 3 because it's in the style of Super Mario Bros. 3, had begun taking course. Unfortunately, no updates have been made on it so far, and I can honestly understand that. Although it had not officially been released, the code for Mario 2 is actually made publicly available through GitHub, so if you want to go check that out, again, link will be in the description below. But pushing things back for a bit, that said newfound success had also led to a whole slew of mods being made for the game. One of the first ones of which, and one of the most popular too, as it's still being supported to this day, is the Entities mod Allison99, which adds over 200 different entities to the game, including power-ups, items, enemies, etc. It's the mod that comes to many when it comes to discussing Mari0 mods, and it's also considered by some as a replacement for Mari0 Special Edition, which is actually kind of funny too, considering that Allison99 is, believe it or not, actually based on Mari0 Special Edition, meaning Special Edition had actually gotten released in some capacity, it just goes under a different name, and it's kind of an interesting story. Post-production update, I just completely forgot about the fact that Allison99 also included a lot of major upgrades to Mari0, including the ability to completely full screen the game using Alt-Enter, as well as being able to download maps online using the DLC section. You can actually go through and find almost any map pack you want thanks to there. And honestly, after playing it again, this is literally by far the most ultimate way to play Mari0. If you want a great upgraded Mari0 experience, including the ability to play online too, by the way, you could do it all through Allison99. It's honestly the best mod to the game, if you ask me. Oh, and don't even get me started on all the map packs that are made for the game, some of which can be found in Mario itself, like the Portal map pack added to 1.6, and Acid Trip. Yeah, I remember playing this one as it was built into Mario-O's map pack selection, and it's very weird, to be honest. And much like Allison99 being the pinnacle of mods, the pinnacle of map packs for many would be the iconic L Brothers. If there is any map pack that you can pinpoint to discuss how legendary of a game Mari0 is, it has to be O Brothers, and it's one that's often held onto by many as one of the greatest map packs to have ever been released for any fan game or game ever. The level design, the artwork, the creative liberties, everything about the game, it's incredible and it's really fun. Seriously, if you ever get the chance, just play Mari0 and then play some of these map packs, including O Brothers. They are worth every second of your time. Now, I could just end the video here and say that Mari0 is the greatest fan game of all time, but I wanted to go one step further. I actually managed to get in contact with Seshel and decided to do an entire interview with him in regards to Mari0 as well as StabYourself.net altogether. And I have my buddy Evan, aka Pickpin here, narrating Seshel's answers for this video. So with all that said, here's the moments we've all been waiting for. Question 1. How did Mari0 come to be?
Mari0 actually started off as a remake of Super Mario Bros. Other remakes at the time were generally not very accurate, and I don't mean that in terms of looks, but rather specifically the feel of the controls. Coyote time, jump height in relation to speed, and small things like how jumping near the edge of the block pushes you to the side of the block. Those and plenty more were generally not implemented correctly and were straight up missing. To be clear, there wasn't a particular reason for making it. This was mostly just Maurice's curiosity if he could actually get it done. Only after did he consider using that base code for actually making the game. As for the portals, it seemed like a natural progression and a challenge to add them after seeing Dorkly's Mario Portals video. I suppose after that, the rest is history.
Question 2. What was the best aspect of developing the game?
The back and forth. Since Maurice and I are pretty in tune, it was often the small things we tuned, or made changes to make them feel better. Things like the portal effects actually took a lot of back and forth to get them to the state they were in.
Question 3. What were the worst aspects of developing the game?
Feature creep, where the list of features to be added and the scope of the project grows uncontrollably. And burnout.
Question 4. Has Nintendo or Valve ever sent anything to you guys regarding Mari0?
No, never. From the very start, we adapted a strict no-profit stance, which I believe is the only real way to have companies turn a blind eye. To be clear, we have received quite a few donations, but even looking at web hosting costs, we've been deep in the red for vast majority of the time.
Question 5. How did you guys react to the massive popularity of the game?
In the communities we were active in at the time, Mari0 was somewhat well known and looked forward to, but we never actually advertised it. It came into the public sphere after the very plainly named video, Mario Portals Test 3, was shared by Razer on their Facebook page. Of course, with the popularity came the pressure to deliver. At this point, it's a blur. But just looking back at the blog posts we made at the time, I can tell we were pretty invested and also pretty stressed.
Question 6. What were your thoughts on the fan community of the game?
Frankly, I'm surprised that after that many years, there still is one. During development, the one thing we put emphasis on as far as player-made content goes was map packs. The modding support was more a consequence of the game itself being open source. What we mostly focused on during development was the product. Having the game that is made and presented fairly professionally. So we were mostly focused on that while the game was in active development. Beyond that, after the burnout caused by SE, we honestly sort of tuned out. Imposter syndrome doesn't help. It doesn't feel like it's something you made.
Question 7. Any personal favorite creations fans have done, like artworks or mods or videos?
I would have to point out Allison99's Entities mod. I think the sheer determination to keep working on it, with latest release being early this year, is beyond compared to anything we've seen.
Question 8. Will we see anything new coming to Mari0?
Mari0 is a finished game, so no. The SE update was a bold plan to expand it, but it suffered from a massive feature creep and old codebase, issues that completely sap all fun and energy from the development effort. Eventually the source code for SE was released, and the community continued, or I suppose continues, to work on it. There is of course Mari0 2, aka Mari3. Its existence is an open secret, and the code is available on GitHub. Despite being a massive upgrade to the portal system, such as the ability to use it on slopes, it is not anywhere near a release or even an announcement. Difficult to say when, if ever, it will be released.
Question 9. What does the future hold for Stab Yourself?
Nothing concrete. StabYourself.net has always been a hobby, and in the long time since, jobs and other hobbies have taken precedence.
So now with all of that said, where is the game gonna go from here? How far is this game gonna go within the next 10 years? Well, honestly, I don't know. But whatever the case is, there is still going to be a passionate fandom behind this. Some of these games have some of the longest lasting fandoms on the planet. Some of them which having such a massive love for these games, in fact, that they will do anything to keep them up and going, including creating their own internet servers just to keep them going. So whatever happens for Mari0, I'm sure there's still going to be a way for it to stay alive no matter what. So with all of that being said, thank you Mari0 and thank you the StabYourself.net team for the amazing 10 years of my life. You have done wonders for me, and I hope you do wonders for others in the future. And I want to thank all of you for the amazing 10 years of the Daniel T Gaming YouTube channel. Alright, so this is all being recorded right now through a 3DS camera, which is what I used to film that original Mari0 video 10 years ago. Okay, well, it's actually not the original camera because trying to film on the original Nintendo 3DS camera was absolutely abysmal, so I'm doing it through the new 3DS camera, which is a massive improvement, surprisingly enough. Either way, I wanted to film it all on a 3DS specifically to say thank you all for the amazing 10 years of this channel. This channel has been one of the most important parts of my life, and I'm seriously very grateful for everything for this channel, and I hope to continue the name and to continue everything even further with videos and documentaries and other stuff. I want this channel to grow even further than where it is now, and I'm seriously very grateful for everything that you guys have done for it. I honestly don't know what's going to happen to YouTube in the next 10 years. I mean, I've already got a job. I've already done stuff there. Why am I still uploading here? Because it's fun. I love it. And I still want to see this channel grow. I don't want to just leave a fandom that I had spent literally 10 years of my life working on just because I have a job now. And so that's why I'm still uploading here. And that's why I want to say thank you all for the amazing 10 years of the Daniel T Gaming YouTube channel that I started when I was only 10 years old in an old house with my parents. And I hope to see you all in another 10. And with all that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!
So, I hope you like this. Please, subscribe. It could help me out. And, see you guys later. Bye.
Hello everybody, thank you all so much for watching the Mari0 documentary. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm really happy with how it turned out. Special thanks to Seshul for doing the interview and also giving me a lot of these inputs into the history of Mari0. And I want to thank Evan, aka Pickpen, for reading out Seshul's answers for me. And so with all of that said, if you have any suggestions on what I should discuss next, and if you have any fan art that you want to submit to me, you can submit them all via Twitter, Discord, and in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit the like button, and if you're new, the subscribe button and the notification bell so that way you'll be notified whenever I upload a video. And with all of that said, thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you all in the next video, and once again, thank you all for the amazing 10 years. I'll see you guys hopefully in another 10 more. Bye.